Hello, everybody. Welcome in. My name is Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and this is going to be the general daily collective message for Wednesday, March the 20th. Keep in mind, timing and energy is fluid, so please only take what resonates and leave behind the rest. Before jumping in, I would like to ask you to please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like the video, comment on the video, and share the videos, especially if you're resonating with it. It does help to circulate the videos. It helps the channel to grow, and it lets me know that what I'm putting out there you enjoy watching. So today we've got some big energies, and I feel we are on the precipice of a major breakthrough collectively. And so right now we have Mercury conjunct Chiron. This aspect is going to be exact today. These energies have been building, and so we've already been feeling this energy. But this is a moment in time, I feel, while Mercury transits through Aries, this is the time for us to truly break a generational cycle, to truly break the cycle. And so what story do you keep telling yourself? What story do you keep telling yourself about this pain, about this wound? And so we all come into this life with a core wound. And right now, collectively, Chiron, the wounded healer, is sitting in the sign of Aries, which is all about a self-identity wound. And we all have a self-identity wound, right? We all have a core identity wound. And so right now, collectively, we have a very prominent opportunity to dig deep into these wounds, and I'm already digging into them. I've been on the path for many years now. And so we're going into the wound of self-identity, where we can identify our self-sabotaging behaviors, some toxic patterns that have plagued us generation after generation. And this is an opportunity for us to reframe this understanding of ourselves and the people around us and relationships and how we do relationships. And so right now, the axis that we're really working with is the Aries-Libra axis within astrology. And it doesn't matter if you have a Chiron in Aries or not, these placements are going to be felt within your birth chart. So you're going to want to pay attention. Where do you have the Aries-Libra axis in your birth chart? I have Aries in my second house, and I have Libra in my 8th house of death and transformation. I have my Lilith and Libra in my 8th house, which makes my Lilith a powerful Lilith placement, Lilith in the 8th house. And so right now, currently, the current transits, I have Chiron, and I have Mercury, and I have the North Node kind of all sitting in my first house of Pisces. Okay. And so for me, with my second house being in Aries, this is all about self-worth and self-value. So what story are you telling yourself? This is such an important transit. And so this Mercury in Aries transit is going to go retrograde on April the 1st. And so Mercury is going to be in Aries for an exceptionally long period of time. It goes direct on April 25th, my brother's birthday. Imagine that, the day before my birthday. And so it's going to be staying in this conjunction, not only with Chiron, but the North Node for an exceptionally long period of time. And so for me, I know all the work that I've done leading up into this moment has prepared me for this collective activation. And so this orb is going to be within a conjunction orb between Chiron, the North Node, and Mercury, all of these energies working together for a very long time. And this is activating this deep-seated wound to come to the surface. And so we can't heal the wound without extracting the wound. I couldn't spit that out. And so right now we have an opportunity to revisit these wounds, to rewrite these negative patterns, to rewrite where we self-sabotage relationships, and to rewrite these negative thought patterns. But we also have to go into the negative thought patterns to rewrite them. We have to recognize the pattern. And so this energy is very active. It's going to be active till May the 7th. And so this is a very important reading today. So maybe you want to save it. You might want to save it and watch it again later, take some notes. But we're on a profound healing journey. Most of us have been on this profound healing journey for a while. And we do have to do the healing work by addressing the wounds. We don't do any healing by sweeping it under the rug or not addressing the big elephant in the room. Elephants have been like a huge spirit animal for me, connected to my grandmother. And my grandmother and I, we always talked about the elephant in the room together before she passed. My grandma was my best friend. It's one of my favorite memories is chatting on the phone with her for hours. I would just call her and talk with her every day. I still remember her phone number. And so we talked about the wounds, we talked about the patterns, me and my grandma. And so I'm the cycle breaker, right? She crossed over so I could be happier and heal these wounds. And so right now we're addressing these old wounds. We're embracing these new perspective about these wounds so we can align to our highest potential. So we can align to our truest calling here, our karmic pathway. And so the first conjunction is taking place today in a series of 3, and so there'll be another conjunction while Mercury is in retrograde, and then again when it's direct. And so we're going to have the peak energy today at 18 degrees. The conjunction is taking place at 18 degrees. So right now we're in a portal of, I feel, the moon energy, or like the moon reversed, of a wake-up call, of actually seeing the pattern, going through some type of an awakening or wake-up call or disillusionment. And then when it conjuncts the second time exact, it will be on April 15th. And then it will conjunct a third time on May the 7th. And so on April 15th, we're going from the moon energy to the judgment, because it'll conjunct at 20 degrees. And so we're going into the energy of judgment, which is the energy of self-judgment, having to look in the mirror, having to be accountable, having to, come in and bring all of this to the surface and recognize the role that you played. Because we can go around pointing the finger, and I've done it myself, and I've blamed my exes for this and that, and they are to blame for a lot of things. But I have to take accountability as to why I resonated with that frequency or that pattern and the toxic role that I played in that entire distorted situationship as well, right? So it always takes 2 to tango. And so the final one will happen on May the 7th, which is the energy of the world. And so we are closing out a major cycle. And so get ready to be triggered. Get ready to be triggered. I have felt for weeks this energy building, and the last several days, just mildly just sitting in the collective, because by human design, my strongest sense is feeling. I feel these energies very, very acutely. And it's like the collective is on the verge of tears constantly. The energy is heavy. I feel that the pressure, the heaviness, the lumps in the throat. And so people need to speak up. We've got some deeply ingrained identity wounds, and it doesn't matter how confident or accomplished you are or how wonderful your parents are. We all have suffered a wound at some point, a wound or feelings of abandonment or rejection. That never stopped me from putting my cup of love out there, though. I'm like a sucker. What's that song go? Who sings it? Is it Rihanna or Sucker for Love? But when we become abandoned, when we become rejected, that is when we go through this identity crisis, this self-identity crisis, or we should anyway, where we inherently question our existence, right? And so sometimes it takes profound traumatic events to awaken us to our truth. 808. SOS. Sending out an SOS just come through in my head. And so many, I feel, are sitting here in this death energy. They don't want to live. They don't want to wake up. They're wondering if they have a right to be here. Does my existence even matter? Would anybody even care if I was gone? And so a lot of us are questioning, who am I? Why did I come here? Why am I even here? What is the purpose of this life, right? And so how's the saying go? Like there's two very important days: the day you're born, and then the day you find out why you were born, right? And so it's a profound journey of discovery. And so with the North Node in Aries also involved in this transit, and this is like so much bigger than a daily message, we have a huge ability to highlight these toxic family dynamics, right? So North Nodes are definitely connected to family dynamics, family patterns that we've inherited throughout generations, and we all have a North and South Node. And so the North Node in Aries is highlighting these toxic family dynamics within. If you're a North Node in Aries, I'm sure it's hitting you in the North Node. Definitely look to the housing aspects. If you'd like to book a personal reading, I will book that in for you. I'd be more than happy to do that. There could be a video card above, or there is a link down below. Check it out. But the South Node represents the past karma that needs to be released and transformed. And so there's a lot of past life relationship karma that needs to be addressed and released during this time period. And so the North Node is giving us an opportunity to take charge of our karma, to take charge of our destiny. We all come with karma. We all come with baggage. We all got to unpack that baggage somewhere eventually. And we all got to let all of the hidden snakes come to light, right? We all have a shadow self. We all have an ugly part inside that is either been rejected or abandoned. And so this is due to some deeply ingrained patterns that we've inherited, right? That we need to understand so we can overcome them. And so a lot of people are questioning their sense of identity. So how a lot of these wounds might show up over the next couple weeks, you might believe that you're deeply flawed, right? What is wrong with me? Something's wrong with me. There's something deeply wrong with me. And so you think you're flawed when it comes to your personality. And so this is like self-defeating, I feel, because you can't truly be yourself if you think you're constantly flawed. Another identity wound is like you constantly feel like a burden. Nobody cares about me. Maybe you were born by accident. Maybe your parents said, hey, you were an accident. You weren't planned. Well, just because you weren't planned doesn't mean you were a burden, right? There's a lot of unplanned pregnancies, and they're the biggest blessings of many families out there. And so if a child was born maybe by accident or unplanned, that child might feel like they're a burden. And so this could be due to being abandoned by one or both parents. And so this is a wound too, like, or maybe a child's been told, like, I've sacrificed myself for you. And so these are obstacles, right? When it comes to fulfilling purpose, when it comes to feeling worthy. Or sometimes a wound is you look in the mirror one day and you're like, oh my God, I'm exactly what I said I never wanted to be. I'm exactly like my mother, or I'm exactly like my father. I'm a carbon copy of exactly what everybody wanted me to do. I'm part of this status quo, and any deviation from the norm or that religious belief or background can't exist in this family. And so there's like a behavior connected to appropriate social status or social order or what's acceptable. And so this is where we self-sabotage too, where we only do things for our mother or our father to appease our mother or our father. And so we're never living life for ourselves. Or you might be feeling like you're just a sinner, right? I know I definitely broke the mold when it comes to being raised Catholic. Like, I have 2 kids out of wedlock. My youngest daughter, she is a mixed child. And so there was a lot of distorted family beliefs where I thought like I was a sinner. Way back in the day, in my younger years, I was an exotic dancer. And so I kind of broke free from all of the biblical part of my upbringing. And I want to be a sinner. And so that was frowned upon, right, with my family. And so we internalize, everything we're doing as wrong. And so we can sit in all of this energy of shame and guilt associated with just living our life and wanting to follow impulses and desires and wanting to live a life of pleasure. And so is it a sin to enjoy life and to embrace your sexuality? And so many people go throughout their whole lives repressing all of their sexuality due to religious and cultural beliefs. Well, not me. I was like, I'm just going to put it all out there. And so this can lead to restrictions or feeling like you've lived a life that was morally wrong. And this is where the energy of judgment comes in, because ultimately only you have the right to self-judge, right? And it's you giving it to God and bringing it to God, bringing it to the altar of God, and that's only between you and God, right? And so right now I feel collectively there's a bunch of narratives going on in people's minds that is really triggering self-worth issues. Am I even worthy of being here? And so this will create an internal conflict, and you won't be able to trust your intuition until these negative thought patterns are finally cleared. And so there could also be a lot of resentment towards family members, where maybe you've been the daughter and you've had to play the mother role. And so, or like where we've had a family constantly make us feel like a victim or belittle us or gaslight us and not make us feel heard or worthy. And so all of these scenarios that we go through within family dynamics, it isn't to victimize us, it's to teach us how to break the chains and how to break the cycle. And so a lot of us came here as light workers, and we incarnated into certain family lineages with patterns to break the molds, to break the generational patterns throughout certain lineages. And so we need to remember, I've looked at these family dynamics so deep. I have read almost every single astrology chart of my family members, cousins, uncles, aunts, everything, and I've pieced it all together. And so there's a lot of deeply rooted patterns within the collective that we've inherited all the way back from the beginning of humanity. And so we get stories from our parents, our grandparents, and their parents, and so forth and so on. And so these stories do exist. These stories are real. We have to bring them to the forefront. We have to talk about them. We're talking centuries and centuries of ancestral patterns of war. And so we're here to break the perpetuating cycle, right? The perpetuating cycle. And so right now I feel we have to heal the self-identity wound. And so there's a unique opportunity coming up, actually 3 unique opportunities. So it's like everything in my journey has happened in 3s. So you got 3 goes. You got 3 chances here to get it right, to re-identify with the wound, to rewrite a script. And I'm hearing that song, High, High Hopes for a Living. You got to have high, high hopes for a living, right? You have the ability, 1555, to take charge of your destiny. We can rewrite the script. We can break the curse that has been passed down through all of the generations. And so I think my family curse is the lack of masculine support. My grandmother had a single mother, was raised by a stepfather. I always had my father around, but my mother or my grandmother, was raised by a stepfather. My grandmother was abused, raised 4 children by herself. And so my mother didn't have a father around. And then it repeated with me, although my parents stayed together until I was about 25. When they divorced, my father's not really been a part of my life. And so that father wound is very deep within the patterns that I came here to clear. My mother and my daughter have the same Chiron wound in Aquarius, and both of their wounds also sit in my 12th house of Aquarius, where my South Node in Aquarius sits. And so we are the cycle breakers, my mom, my daughters, and me. And so we're breaking the cycles of these self-worth issues, right? And so right now I feel we're coming into a new understanding of our existence. And so we need to understand we're never a burden. We're going to meet a lot of people that are going to invalidate us, that are going to make us feel worthless, that are going to try and skew our perceptions of self, that are going to try and gaslight us and hurt us. And so we need to all understand we're here for a reason. We all have a greater purpose, and we all have to go through some difficult circumstances. Some of us are born into poverty consciousness. Some of us are born into very unhealthy family dynamics of abuse. And so we're not here to keep repeating that. Yes, we share DNA with our family, our relatives. Yes, this is a part of who we are. This is a part of our cellular structure. But we do have a unique opportunity to rewrite that cellular structure, to go through this heart purging that has confined us, right? And so we're not here to limit ourselves. We can manifest a new earth, but we do have to go inside the wound. And so inherently, many of us are taught that we are just sinners because we are human. None of us are actually sinners. And so pleasure, happiness, joy, that is the portal to our creativity. I have experimented in the past, years and years ago, with all kinds of psychedelics. And so I've experimented with all kinds of earthly pleasures. As a Taurus sun sign, I came here to experience pleasure, everything the world has to offer materially. That's what Taurus came here to experience. I definitely know my worth, right? And so I've gone through a lot of awful things, and here I am in this state of my authentic essence, harnessing my personal creativity. So trust that everything you've gone through has led you up until this point. And so trust your impulses, trust your intuition. We all have creative genius inside of us. So we have to allow ourself, but we first have to identify who we are as a self. And when we're in a state of authentic self-identity, authentic self-expression, then our intuition is always going to direct us towards fulfillment. So I think right now there's a gift inside the pain. There's always a gift inside the pain. And I've been in the darkest of nights myself. I spent over 9 months in the dark night of the soul, in the deepest depression I've ever gone through. And so it is through the struggles, though, that we find our strength. And it is through the struggles that we find God, that we find our purpose. And it is in the struggles that we feel most disconnected to source and God, or whatever it is you call it. But it is in those moments that we are closest with our higher self and our divinity. And so we all have things to heal. We all have things to address. We all have lessons to learn this life. We all have a higher contract. We all came here to develop out of some stuck patterns as well. And we all have the ability to overcome adversity, but we do have to go into the wound. Because if we don't go into it, we can't transform it. And then we can't open up the box of our greatest gift, right? The Pandora's box of darkness kind of has to be opened up. And so we're just at the peak of the energies, the beginning of the unveiling, right? With the wound, with the moon energy. And so I feel over the next several weeks, we're going to be opening up these layers like an onion. There's going to be a lot of tears as these energies intensify and develop. So we have two options here, right? We can dive into this process head first, or we can keep resisting it. But we've got the eclipses coming up, and I just feel this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity. And we're not going to get this opportunity again. So are you ready to rewrite your patterns? Are you ready to rewrite history? Because we are being asked to break the cycle. So what do you want to build for your life moving forward, I think, is a big question that you need to ask yourself coming up here. So let's pull in with a couple of cards. I knew this was going to be a little bit of a longer message, but let's see. Oh, shadow work and slow it down. And that's what retrogrades are all about, slowing it down. So we're rewriting thought patterns. When Mercury goes into retrograde, it's a thought pattern. And so if you think about the age of Aries was before the age of Pisces, the age of Aries was the age of war, right? So we're going back to Greek mythology. We're going back to Aries, Aphrodite. And so I know there's been a lot of ancient codes like that, a lot of ancient memories connected to that timeline coming through for me over the last several years. And so we got to slow it down. We got to do this deep shadow work. And so it does all come down, I feel, to like the Isis and Osiris energy. But let's get a few of these cards and let's see what else needs to come through for the collective. If you'd like to become a channel member, I would love to have you join me on the other side of the channel. Please feel free to check out the video cards throughout the video or the link below. There's an option to join where I go live every Thursday at noon, and we either do card pulls, we talk about different things that my guides want to bring up for teachings that kind of help you along the journey, help you grow and expand. And there's also other bonus content over there. There will be an Aries birthday reading coming up over there very soon. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, please feel free to check out the description box below. There is a new webpage for you to book. So let's see what needs to come through for the collective. This is not sign specific. Wow. We're just going to leave it at that. We get truth and seek healing. So feel Mars energy, see in red. There's anger, there's sacred rage, there's truth coming out, and there is a need to seek healing. It's time to embrace these changes. Change your tune, change your home, change your attitude, change your tune, change your life. And so the change your tune is the frequency upgrade, I feel, the DNA frequency upgrade. And so I do feel there is a need to really get honest with yourself. So what truth have you been denying too? So let's read into the truth card, and then we're going to pull in with some tarot, guys. But it is time to seek that deep healing. That's just a confirmation, right? With the seek healing card. So we get the healing moon and the moon rising. I can't find the moon rising. Oh, 86. So right now, I feel like if you've had questions, you're going to get answers to those questions. It says you're about to get an answer. So tough love is needed right now too. So tough love, right? Honesty is the best policy is what it's saying. And so avoid tellers of tall tales. Somebody's untruth or somebody's lies will be exposed. And this is connected to a romantic partnership, I feel. So if somebody's been lying to you, the truth is going to come out. And so 3 things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. The truth always comes to light. So either somebody's hiding something from you, or you're hiding something from somebody else, but you know what the truth of the situation is, I feel. So the truth is going to come to light. So get ready for exposure of the truth, especially if you've been wrestling with an issue that needs resolution. Transparent and truthful energies are coming, and I do feel this is going to allow you to seek healing. Better days are coming is what I want to say. So heal your feelings, heal your life. There's something so much better awaiting you. So whatever current situation is hurting you, you have the ability to heal it, but you can no longer deny the emotions coming up. And so healing takes a lot of work. So there could be like a chakra activation, a Kundalini activation is what I feel might be taking place. But you're going to have to reorient your life is what it feels like, especially after the eclipses. So let's do 9 cards. 5 of Swords, 4 of Pentacles, reverse, a release. A release of self-sabotaging behaviors. I do feel 2 people here are hurting. I think we got a masculine here that's looking at a feminine as like a femme fatale. Somebody that's like a trickster. Somebody that wants to hurt somebody or hurt them. We got a feminine here that I feel is actually pretty honest and forthright. She's holding a white rose. And so she's definitely coming from a heart-centered place. And so we got 2 people not on the same page. And I feel we got a very broken man here. And so there's some type of sabotage and behavior playing out. And there's kind of a release, right? So we get the 4 of Pentacles. We've got somebody here that really wasn't even open to receiving a connection anyway. So we got a release of, I feel, 2 people just not on the same page that are maybe out to win at all costs. And it's, you know, like, do you want to win or do you want to just go your separate ways and be happy? 2613 I noticed on the timer, but I feel somebody here is like a shell of a person is what it feels like. Yeah, and there's codependencies here. So there is a need to address abandonment wounds, codependency issues due to rejection and self-sabotaging behaviors, because something here is completely dead and gone. Something here is changing, dying away. Death could mean the death of a loved one. We get the Hanged Man, so we get Scorpio, Pisces energy. We get the Moon reverse. There's that wake-up call. So the truth is coming to light, absolutely, about a third-party situation. This is like, for me, this card, 3 Cups, I just feel like keeping up with the Joneses. You know, my mom said it all the time. You know how the saying goes, keeping up with the Joneses. When you really can't afford to keep up with the Joneses. And so this is all about status quo. I feel releasing a status quo, yeah, coming out of illusion, confusion, with the 7 of Cups reversed, the Page of Wands reversed. There's that deep, deep look into a childhood pattern, I feel. A deep, deep look, right? The Emperor, a father wound, maybe. The World reversed. There's a need to look deeper at a pattern here. And the 9 of Cups. And I feel addictions have really hindered somebody's judgment. Wowza. Look at the Fool on the bottom of the deck. The 2 of Swords reversed. So, yeah, going deep into the wound. Like, the cards are speaking for itself today. I don't even think I need clarifiers today. So the cards are speaking for itself, going straight into the wound. Taking the rose-colored glasses off. You know, Spirit's been saying, hey, it's time to do this work. You've avoided it up until now. Maybe it took 3 very painful heartbreaks. Maybe the last 3 years has been a series of not wanting to see the truth, receiving the messages, but not taking the guidance to heart. And there is a new opportunity here, but somebody's going to have to face their fears. Time is of the essence, I feel, right? So this is a pivotal time. We're not going to get this opportunity again. It's the crocodile energy from Pan. And so somebody here has not wanted to grow up. Somebody here has got a Peter Pan complex, I feel. It's like the energy of, you know, always running from true love, but not doing the work you need to do to step towards it. So I feel somebody's going into a deep dive, facing some fears. It's like the crocodile energy. And then we get the Temperance in reverse, Queen of Swords reversed, Queen of Wands. So I feel we could have a feminine here that has really stayed quiet and just observed a situation. It's imbalance. There's an imbalance here. There's addictions here. I feel toxicities, obsessive tendencies, spying. There's a need to cut something out. I feel somebody here might be lashing out. But it is going to allow somebody to break free from an old mindset and find their passion for life again. But I do feel like slow and steady. It's going to take some time to move on from heartbreak. I feel we've got a deep feminine here in a state of wounding. We've got two people separating, not on the same page. Maybe where you thought you were going to be together for a long time. Maybe you have been together. There is definitely a separation energy, and you're going to want to be gentle. Things are moving forward, but at a snail's pace. But this is about an uncaging. I feel like almost like a fallen angel energy. So this is a battle too between the head and the heart, right? And so the heart always is going to want what it wants. But sometimes logically we're not seeing things properly because we're in a state of illusion due to some type of addiction. And so I feel by Cancer season there will be a completion and a walking away of something. And when you walk away from maybe something that you thought was going to be a permanent partnership, that is when your luck will change. But it's kind of time to come out of disillusionment. I feel Seven of Cups reversed is seeing things clearly, and I'm feeling the Pleiadian light beings, the Pleiadian light sisters coming through, the seven star sisters, and there is some inner child healing going on here. So connected to a father wound or connected to a toxic masculine wound. And so we can't keep avoiding doing the deep dive. We're going into the heartbreak to feel that pain. So death, hanged man, new perspective, a deep dive into the subconscious, the psyche of all of these addictions, of where you've held yourself back, right? And so the Nine of Cups reversed is the overall outcome. I do feel a need to really address addictions. Let's clarify the Nine of Cups reversed. I think just ending a situation that just isn't what you wished for, right? This isn't what you wanted. This isn't what you asked for, right? And so somebody's been really holding on tight to something here. And it's kind of time to rebirth a situation, right? Yeah, Seven of Swords, Seven of Wands, Seven of Cups, 777 come out, and the Nine of Pentacles. Somebody here is holding on for dear life to a situation because of some codependencies. And so there's a need to break free. Somebody is definitely moving on from a situation that has been very dark, that has been very draining, that has brought a lot of challenges. I think somebody tried to hook somebody. And, you know, we'll go down with other people when it's not even our karma sometimes. And so there's moving on from an unhealthy situation because time is saying the wheels have already been set in motion, right? It's time to move forward. And so somebody here, I feel, has been feeling all alone, and no man is meant to be an island. And so if you're in a partnership feeling all alone with somebody toxic, it's time to let that die away. You can't keep keeping it up with the Joneses, right? You can't keep jumping through hoops to please this person. Let's clarify the Emperor reverse. It's like a corrupt leader, a corrupt father. Yeah, this is about cycles, family cycles. Maybe your father was abusive. I know my grandmother was abused by her husband and cheated on, and the son. So yeah, a recognition of a family pattern. And I do feel there's anger, there's sacred rage about the denial, right? And so collectively we are healing major generational wounding connected to distorted masculine and feminine, right? And so for generations we've been living in a state of illusion with feminines not stepping into their worth and their value, being controlled by narcissistic, abusive men. We all have narcissistic tendencies. We all have an ego. Women are learning to step into their worth and come out of this state of denying that they are worthy. And so there is a new beginning here, but we do have to leave this kind of behavior behind. Collectively, I see it, women, you know, it's almost like they hate men, men hate women, and we're in a war with one another. We're here to work together. And so there's an opportunity to create some growth, to create a new beginning, to turn the page, to write a new book, right? To turn the page and to plant a new seed. So I do feel shifting perspectives connected to some type of father wound, and releasing a period of stagnancy and just communicating honestly, maybe about some past challenges. It might just be a need to communicate. Let's get a closing message here. So let's see what past life lesson is coming through today with this truth. We get a farmer here. So we definitely have somebody here that has worked tirelessly to build some type of foundation in an arranged marriage. And then we get the fisherman. So hook, line, and sinker. It's this energy of like harvesting, or like, you know, staying in a union or an arranged marriage or union with somebody just for the harvest, just for the status just for the obligation. So we're breaking those patterns, right? We're breaking those patterns based on family lineage. And so get ready to cultivate a new foundation. We are healing the toxic feminine wounding. We're healing the toxic masculinity. And there is going to be some anger and some sacred rage. And so I feel there's a feminine here that has lost herself in a connection. There might be something hidden. I think all secrets are coming to light. I feel Mary Magdalene energy. And I do feel like we're seeing the ravaging effects right now on humankind. And so be mindful of your negative reactions. You're going to want to control your temper because that is going to be key to overcoming these challenges and these adversities coming up here, because we inadvertently create our own roadblocks too sometimes. And so people are going to be testing us. People are going to be triggering us. Especially if you are leading with love too. If you're in a state of shining that light, you're going to be triggering a lot of people's shadow self coming up here too, because I feel there's a lot of people manifesting their biggest dreams in this portal, and there's going to be a lot of anger, but we do have to lead with love regardless of if it's returned, I think is a closing message. So seek that healing. Okay, this is what I got. I hope it helped. I hope it resonated. If you'd like to book a personal or soulmate reading with me, please feel free to check out that description box below, guys. And I do look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.